Hi guys, Artiar here. So for this video here, I'll be talking about Tirrel. So I have been summoning Tirrel to R6 and then I've been testing her for 1 week after since her release until now. It has been already for 1 week. And I would say that like TLZR, do you really need to summon her? I will say no. It's a pretty safe skip and you probably just want to use the free summon you get from the lock-in event and probably summon for 1 copy if you want, then you can already stop. Okay, so on paper the Rezo effect actually seems very broken, but actually when we use in PvE content, it sucks. Okay, comparing with other DPS Esper, she doesn't seem like able to do that many damage because the S2 here is skills with attack and not going to be HP. Okay, so let me go through one by one. So the first thing is when Tirrel at R0, she's just a pure controller because the co-op effect here is very annoying. But because you have to build her slow, because if she takes too fast, then she will actually remove the Gossamer stack from the enemy. So that's her weakness. She can't build too fast and she can't build too slow. And when she's too slow and enemy is on a co-op, then she can't take a turn to actually poke the enemy and do damage. So that's the reason why R6 is so strong for her. But in terms of R0, I would say that she's just a controller that can passively apply the Gossamer and also the co-op to annoy the enemy by disabling their passive. So in a team that you want Tirrel in PvP content, you actually want someone that actually help you nuke them when they have the co-op. So for example, if Suicide got co-op and then Suicide doesn't have the passive to get like all those special kind of passive buff and the attack up, defend up, all these things, then you have another unit that can actually nuke them. For example, Tetsuya, Moriyama, Momo, all these things. Then you are able to kill them actually easier. Or for example, you are going to fight with Zihe and you don't want Zihe to actually have the passive to actually self-revive to go into the stone steady mode. Then when Zihe have co-op, then you use one of your DPS to kill them. That is actually going to be a very good combination. But the problem is because usually in PvP content, you are not able to control the unit that you want to use or target on who. So usually the co-op here is not going to be efficiency. When they have co-op, then probably your ally doesn't even care that if the enemy have co-op or not. They just attack on other unit. So that's the path for R0. Then the moment if you're starting to get Rezo, then she will be better. Like R1 here, it will be better for them to actually get a Gossamer stack faster, so they go into co-op stack faster. And R2 here is more for PvE. I'll cover this part later. Then if you summon her until R4, then she will cure the weakness that she's actually scared of control as well, and also increase her own HP based on the enemy based on her own accuracy. So R4 here is where she can be better because she won't scared of the effect the control, right? Then the moment is when you reach R6, then she's actually gonna be OP and going to be usable in PvP content, because if you have Tirrel and you actually use Tirrel in PvP content, you will notice that it's actually very hard to use her in PvP content when you're not even R6. It's all because the Gossamer stack is actually very hard to actually have the same time. You have the timing. What do I mean about that? Which is like one enemy have co-op and Tirrel take her action, then the Tirrel S1 can only poke with high damage, right? That is before R6. But if you have R6 Tirrel, then Tirrel can actually doesn't need any speed at all, and enemy get co-op, then she will poke them and do massive amount of damage. But before that, for you to actually have Tirrel and a co-op together at the same timing is actually very hard. So you'll notice that people who actually using Tirrel in the PvP content currently, they are at R6. Probably you'll see some player, for example, Kovac, for example, he's using a R0 Tirrel here, is most likely just using Tirrel to try to disable the enemy passive while putting in there. Okay, so you're using Sig and Suje here to do like all the damage and also the puppet spread, and then you use Tirrel here to try to co-op them with the passive. But overall, I will say in PvP content, you want to be like just use her as a controller unit, just use her as a passive unit that can actually disable the passive, and you want other DPS unit that can kill them whenever they have the co-op on. Okay, so at low reso, I would not recommend you to actually summon for Tirrel at all. And if you are a PvE player, to be honest, like the R2 effect here doesn't help too much. Why? Because she's a HP skill character, right? Most of her damage actually scales with her max HP. But the problem is when she comes to her S2, it scales with attack. Right, so you want to attack stats, you want accuracy stats, because accuracy gives you additional crit rate, attack, and crit damage, and also additional speed. And you want to build Tirrel with 100% accuracy as well to actually do get a bonus crit rate, crit damage, and speed to actually do damage in PvE. But if we look at the current PvE meta, for example, in Falsetto Fantasy, there's actually no usage for Tirrel at the moment. For example, in Dark Starlord, if you look at the ranking here, there's no Tirrel currently using. You will see Seek. Okay, you will see Seek, but you will not see Tirrel at all in the PvE meta. Alright, then if we look at the bossing, especially the one of the best boss she's actually able to be used is the Desolate Land. So the Desolate Land here, there's no content or actually able to make Tirrel outshine the other DPS. For example, the team here I'm using is Valerian with combination with Meta Ira to have a high DPS output. And if we look at other team comp here, we can see Seek in action because of the damage, bonus damage, and also the bonus stat boost for your team, but you will not see Tirrel at all. So let's take Shadow Stream here as well, leaderboard here, Wolf Formation. You will see Seek in action, but you will not see Tirrel in action, even though Tirrel kit looks so good in PvE content as well because of the additional bonus stats. Okay, so let's take these shadow bosses for example. Because Tirrel here, the S2 actually does a very good job in terms of multiplier. That's going to be 750% damage multiplier, and the target is a boss, which is he will. Every attack here increase AP by 6%, so you hit 5 times, you're going to have a 30% self AP push, and then 750% multiplier, and also reduce this ability cooldown by 1 turn. And because you do 5 times, basically you are able to cool down your skill cooldown by 5 turns, so you're always gonna able to spam the S2, and then also increase the final damage by 100%. So on paper this looks broken. Right, on paper this looks broken. And also keep note, this currently I'm using the Tirrel is R6 but without any divinity, so I'm actually losing a lot of stats here. So I might actually be wrong later on when I have the divinity, I might actually do higher damage. But at least for now, when I have a skill up Tirrel and R6 and no divinity, I'm going with Thunder set that focus on accuracy 100%. So I'm able to get additional 70% attack for free, 70% attack, crit rate and crit damage, and also 70 speed. So I have technically I get another 70 speed. Then crit rate here I'm gonna get 100% because 30% here plus another 70%. I have 100% crit rate. Then my crit damage here I can go up to like probably 445% total because another 70% crit rate here. So on paper it gives a lot of stats, a lot of damage as well. And I'm going with crit damage and also with Avatara. Even though some is unboosted, I'm going for Avatara because there's not really other equipment set that can suitable for Tirrel, because the main damage here is going to scale with attack. So you can't go with HP set, you can't go with crit Fairy set because she gives herself crit rate. So I think the only best set for her is going to be Avatara. I'll probably not even build a set, just go for full stats. But if we look at a team like this, probably it's not even the optimized team for Tirrel. But if we look at a team like this, and I go for Blitz, if we look at the damage output, it's not as high as we thought for Umbra Esper and also for R6 Esper. Okay, so I'm currently getting 500 million, and if we look at the attack stats here, alright, let's take a look here. Attack stats here, and look at the DPS data. Tirrel here does around like 196. Alright, 6 is doing double the damage because 6 is ours. Is level 70 and divinity. Alright, but Tirrel here does decent amount of damage, right? It looks okay, and if we look at the like in game battle, she also does okay. Like the damage output wise is doing exactly fine. Alright, for an Esper, for a new Esper with this kind of stats boost, is doing exactly fine. And then after she casts the S2, she's actually able to get back her S2 ready up. Alright, so she's actually able to spam her S2 again later on. Right, or wait for it. And then when she casts S2, do a lot of damage. And then her S2 is back up again. And then the S3 here is also back up again, because of the cooldown from the boss. Right, so technically Tirrel is actually able to keep AP pushing herself whenever she casts her S2. And then spam damage. Look at it, she actually takes a turn pretty fast. And she actually does a decent amount of damage without any definite. But if we look at the same time, so this one is 2513, right? And if I'm actually using another level 60, because I don't want to use level 70 yet, if I use another level 60, which is going to be Feng Shun, and I build Feng Shun with DPS, which is Thunder set and Brawler set, and then but Feng Shun here have Divinate, so Feng Shun technically have a stats boost to actually compete with Tirrel. And if I Blitz, and then if we look at the damage output, my Feng Shun actually deals slightly higher than Tirrel. But keep note again, this Tirrel here doesn't have Divinate, so I'm actually losing a lot of the stat boost. But what I'm trying to bring out is Tirrel doesn't seem too OP or too broken in PvE content. Probably is a good thing as well at the same time. But yeah, it doesn't seem too broken at the moment in PvE. And if we look at the damage stats, my Feng Shun isn't dealing that high damage compared with Tirrel, but we have to know that Feng Shun actually boosted a lot more damage because of the continuous AP push and the buff, and makes Sig actually do more damage at the same time. So on early thoughts, okay, early thoughts, I'm not even going for the conclusion yet because I might actually be wrong as well. Because I don't have resources like Divinate to actually summon for Tirrel Divinate and actually try her to compete with other Esper currently. But at least for now, I would say that Tirrel doesn't worth the Nexus Crystal for most of the player. For PvP Enjoyer, you're definitely gonna get her R6, and she will be very fun in PvP content. Apply the co-web and slowly poke them with the S1 poke damage. It's going to be very strong. But I know that most of the players are not able to reach the R6 for Tirrel. So before R6, in my opinion, for PvP, just use her whenever you want to apply the co-web and you can disable the carrier passive, then she will be strong. Or else she doesn't look gonna be very strong in PvP content because it's actually very hard to align the co-web at the same time and when Utu takes the action. Unless you build a very strong team that you can actually rely on Tirrel to apply the co-web, and then your ally actually can kill the enemy whenever they have disabled passive. It's going to be very effective, for example, applying on Tolan, applying on Jiangjiu Li, all these kind of Esper that relies a lot of passive, and then whenever they get co-web and then you have Esper that can actually kill them, then Tirrel will work in your team, but most of the time it won't work. Okay, then another thing for PvE wise, you want to go for minimum at R2, it will work, and then you need high Divinate to actually let her shine. I will test more about Tirrel whenever I get her Divinate, then probably it will be better because Divinate here gives a lot of stats, 900 attack here, not to mention another 30% base attack here, and I will try her to be level 70 as well and see what is her limit to actually do in PvE content, because at least for now it doesn't impress me. It does not impress me even though I get her R6. So far it's not that broken in PvE. PvP wise, it's going to be very strong, like OP broken at R6. So before R6 here, I don't recommend you to actually go for her reso. I would say just get for one copy and see how are they going to do with it. Alright, then that's it for now. This is just my early thoughts about Tirrel. Seems broken on paper, but she really needed a reso to actually make her OP in PvP. Then for PvE wise, I need more testing because I have no Divinate summon at the moment for her. Alright, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Feel free to comment down what you guys think about Tirrel if you already tested her and if you already summoned for her as well. I would like to know your opinion as well, because so far for now, Tirrel doesn't amaze me in PvE. PvP already know she's able to one poke them, but requires high reso. Alright, hope you guys enjoyed the video and see you guys in the next one. Bye bye. Special thanks for the direct support on the YouTube membership. So for the benefactor of Artiar, which is Trencan, thank you so much for your support. And for the supporter or patron of Artiar, which is Louis Schneider, Agni, Wang Tamer, Ziggy, Kamaruki, Sunwaltz, Rimu, Chani, Antonio Winterspoon, First Law, D&D, thank you so much for your support. And special thanks to the Super Thanks MVP, HMZ Riggs, thank you so much for your support. Special thanks for the direct support on the live stream super chat for the latest 10. Thank you so much for Code Wilderness, Calamity, Agni, Love Fatima, Fatima Little Underwear, Bloods, Riku Fred, Choni. Thank you so much for your support.